Hello, sports fans. We are ready for NFL Wildcard Weekend in the league where they play for pay. Happy New Year, everybody. Hard to believe we're in the year 2019. Also hard to believe the regular season in the NFL has come and gone and we are ready for the playoffs. We have separated the pretenders from the contenders. The pretenders have gone home. Good night, Minnesota. What a terrible job by you. Goodbye, Pittsburgh, with all your drama, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. The rest of the pretenders have gone home as well, like Tennessee and Miami and Washington. The list goes on and on and on. Kansas City and New England, they'll have a bye in the AFC this week. New Orleans and the Rams bye in the NFC. Let's get to it. Let's get to the wild card round picks. Let's start in Chicago, Soldier Field, one of my favorite stadiums in all of the NFL. Bear fans have waited a long time for this one. With the champs of the NFC North, the Chicago Bears at 12-4, -6 against the Philadelphia Eagles. How about Philadelphia? Getting up to 9-7 and making the playoffs. They were decimated by injuries this year, Philadelphia. I mean decimated in the secondary. They end up winning their last 3 games, showed a lot of resolve down the stretch, beating the Rams, beating the Texans, Foles doing some nice things again. Give the Eagles a lot of credit for just making the playoffs. They were destroyed by injuries this year. So nice job by Philadelphia just getting into the playoffs. Having said that, this is asking a lot to go into Chicago and beat the Bears. The Bear defense is ferocious, led by Mack, who's made all the difference in the world for the Bears this year. The Bears are hungry. Look how they played against Minnesota the last game of the year. They had nothing really to play for. They shut down the Vikings in Minnesota, and Minnesota needed that game to make the playoffs. I think this is going to be the Bears' day. This is asking a lot for Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a remarkable run last year to the Super Bowl victory. Asking a lot for them to do it 2 years in a row. I think the Bears get it done here. I'm going to move the line down to pick them and take Chicago. If you like Chicago in the money line, I couldn't argue that way. I think Chicago is going to get it done, though. They're going to force some turnovers. They're going to harass Foles. Mac's going to be all over them. I think Chicago's defense carries the day. They do enough on offense to get through here. Like I said, nice job by the Eagles getting to the playoffs, but asking a lot now to go into Chicago after the year the Bears had and beat the Bears on the road. I think Chicago gets it done. It's their day. The Bear fans have waited a long time for this one. I think they'll celebrate. They'll celebrate this victory over the Eagles. I like Chicago in a teaser. I'll move the line to pick them. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go down to Baltimore with the Baltimore Ravens are -2.5 against the LA Chargers. Baltimore, champs of the AFC North at 10-6. They hung on and beat the Browns. They almost let that game get away. I actually thought the Browns were going to try like a 57-yard field goal at the end. They didn't do so. They went for it 4th and 10. Baltimore defense stiffened, so they hung on and got the job done. They almost blew it, Baltimore. But again, give Baltimore credit. The Steelers were way ahead of them in the division. Flacco is injured. Here comes Jackson. He played very well. The Baltimore defense played tremendous down the stretch. I think Baltimore only lost 1 game down the stretch of the season. That was to Kansas City, a game they could have easily won. So Baltimore did some really good things with Jackson at the end of the year, and the Baltimore defense played very, very well as well. LA Chargers 12-4. For 12-4, you know what you get? You get no home games, you get no week off, and you get to play in the wild card. That's because the Chiefs had the tiebreaker against the Chargers. Baltimore in this game, -2.5 against the Chargers. This should be a white knuckler, down to the wire. Very, very tough game to pick. I'm going to move the line to 8.5 and take the Chargers. The Chargers were 7-1 on the road this year. Baltimore's in a lot of close games. The first time they played a couple weeks ago in Los Angeles, Baltimore won 16-10. The Chargers had a chance to win it late, but Gates fumbled. I think it'll be that type of game again, right down to the wire. Impossible to pick a winner here. It could go either way, so I'll move the line to 8.5, thinking this is going to be a close game either way. I'll take the Chargers. I think this is a different Charger team. I think they'll at least hang around in the game, if not win the game outright. I'll move the line to 8.5 and feel comfortable that way. Like I said, game could go either way, So I'll take the Chargers plus 8.5 in a two-team 6-point teaser. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go with the Big D in Dallas. Jerry's World. How about them Cowboys? With the Dallas Cowboys are -2 against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle had a very nice year at 10-6. They started 0-2. I thought Seattle was going to have a long year, a rebuilding year. Pete Carroll did a very good job with this team. A great coaching job by Pete Carroll this year. Seattle really did some good things. Didn't play well against Arizona this last week, but got the job done. Didn't have much to play for. Dallas, how about them? 10-6, win the division. They started 3-5. You know, they really played well down the stretch of the year. Give Garrett credit. I've been all over Garrett. I don't think he's a great head coach, but he did turn the team around, did get him up to 10-6, did get him to the playoffs. They did win the division. Even this last game, they played really hard. They had nothing to play for against the Giants. They rallied to win that game. Dallas has been in a ton of close games this year. They've won most of them. Cooper made all the difference. Once he came over, Dallas offense was really different. So Dallas, really nice stuff as well. Seattle beat Dallas earlier in the year, very early in the year, in Seattle 24-13. That was before Dallas had Cooper. Like I said, the game was in Seattle. This game will be a lot closer. Seattle manhandled Dallas in that game. Will be a lot closer. These two teams are very evenly matched. Both good running games. Both defenses can do some things. Both quarterbacks are playmakers. They have some receivers on the outside. This game, just like the Baltimore Charger game, should come down to the wire. So again, I'm going to move the line to 8 and take Seattle, thinking this is a 3-point game either way. I mean, very hard to pick a winner straight up here. It really is. These two teams are very evenly matched. Both teams are in a lot of close games. You have to think this one is going to be close too. Game could go either way. Listen, if you told me you think Dallas is going to win, I couldn't argue with you. But the way I would play it, move the line to 8 in a two-team 6-point teaser. Take the Seahawks. You got to think the game is a 3-point game either way. That's pick number 3. And the last pick number 4, yet another tough game. These games are all very tough. These last 3 games can really go either way, in my opinion. The playoffs, to me, are wide open this year. Wide open. I mean, New Orleans might be the favorite, but, I mean, they're not unbeatable. They didn't look dominant the last month of the season. All the teams have flaws. New England, Kansas City, everybody has flaws. No unbeatable team this year in the NFL. It's wide open. You're going to have some fantastic close playoff matchups this year. It's going to be fun to watch. Last matchup, let's go down to Texas, where the Houston Texans are -1.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Texans 11-5 this year, started 0-3, went 11-2 down the stretch. I told you before the season started, the Texans were my surprise team. I even said it at 0-3, don't give up on them, and they really turned things around. Watson looks dynamic at quarterback. You know the defense with Watt and Clowney can get some things done. And how about the Colts? How about the Colts getting up to 10-6? Luck had missed a year and a half. The Colts looked like a dead carcass early in the year. Lost to the Jets, got shut out by Jacksonville, and yet here they come rallying back to make the playoffs at 10-6. What a great job by the Colts, and they beat Tennessee on the road the last game of the year to do it. Tremendous job by both of these teams. Texans favored by 1.5 here at home. These teams have played twice already this year. Houston won the first game in Indianapolis. They blew a big lead. Then the game went into overtime. The Colts should have punted and taken the tie. Instead, they go for it in their own territory, don't make it. Houston gets an easy crack at a field goal, wins that game. I thought that game was going to come back to, haunt the Colts. It didn't. They ended up making the playoffs anyway. Then the last matchup, the Colts are coming off a shutout loss in Jacksonville, 6-0. Texans had won 9 in a row, and what do the Colts do? The Colts go into Houston and beat the Texans 24-21. So this game should be very close as well. Both matchups have been 3-point games. Each team has won in the other team's stadium. I'm going to move the line to 4.5 and take Houston. I'm going to take Houston, the 4.5, and the home field. Listen, if you wanted to push it to 7.5 and take the Colts, couldn't argue with you. It's that close. These games are razor thin. I can't argue with you if you go the other way. But I'm going to move it to 4.5, take the Texans. I get the home field. I get Houston with the 4.5 points, and I think the game is going to be 3 points either way. This may be a game where no matter what way you play it in a teaser, you might win. You might win either way. And these last 3 games, Baltimore Chargers, Dallas, Seattle, Houston, Indianapolis, can go either way. They really can. That's how close these matchups are. Very close, razor thin either way. But I'll take Houston, move the line to 4.5. I think it'll be a close game. Spectacular football this weekend. Really should be great. And moving forward, it's going to be wild in the playoffs. There is not one really, really dominant team where you say is going to run through the playoffs. Even the Saints the last month of the year, they, were in a lot of close games. Like I said, all teams have flaws. It's going to be very interesting. It's wide open this year. Wide open. A bunch of teams can win it this year. Should be fun. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. I'll probably be back with you guys next Tuesday. We'll recap the wild card round. We'll head into the divisional rounds. Should be some really fun football. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. Happy New Year. Enjoy the games. Thanks as always for the support. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Take care.